In this lecture, we're going to look at how to create an audio lead magnet or freebie. So that's an audio file, such as an MP3, that you can send or have in your initial email or download page. That's the thing that's going to tempt people to join your list. That's the free thing they're going to get. An audio lead magnet is a bit different, and that's the idea. That's why we're thinking of doing this. Some recent research has shown that it's a great idea to try to offer, if you can, something for your lead magnets that is different in what it is to the thing that you want to sell people. Now, as we're selling people books, we hope, ultimately, it's a good idea to try to offer a freebie that's not text format, so an audio or a video file or series of files. So let's look at how to create an audio file. That's the simplest way to begin with this multimedia stuff. In this lecture, we're going to look at the sort of things that you could record and the equipment that you need, and it's not very much, so don't worry about that. We'll look at the software that you need, and the good thing about that is it's completely free. We'll look at how to actually record it and how to edit that recording, and where you can host it, and how you can use the link to the audio. So let's jump in. The sort of things that you could record. It could be just you reading a chapter from your book. Any chapter from your book, something plucked that will stand alone or that will tempt people to want to know more, to want to hear more or read more. You could record an interview with yourself. So the sort of questions that somebody would ask you as an author or as an expert, if you were being interviewed on radio, say, the questions they would ask you, and you could ask and answer those questions yourself. You could also come up with a list of frequently asked questions. So if you are an established author, you might find that you are asked the same things over and over. You could answer those. If you're a new author, I'm sure you could come up with ideas and find out the sort of things that authors are asked a lot. So where do you get your ideas from? How do you deal with writer's block? The usual sort of thing. And you could come up with some more possibly. If your novel or even your non-fiction book features a particular place in the world, you could do a walking tour of that. You could actually, I was going to say film yourself, record yourself on the ground there, walking around, explaining things. Perhaps it's somewhere that really sparked your imagination and got you writing the book in the first place. That would be a great place to do it. If you're a non-fiction writer, you could offer some how-to tips, either based on your book or on a topic that's similar to it but a slightly wider area. You can offer how-to tips as a novelist as well, but it could be within writing, or perhaps your book or your series of books is on something in particular. So there are people who write about, I'm not sure how to say this, is it the Amish people? So there are some fantastic novels that are set in the Amish world. So you could have an audio talking about the Amish way of life, or whatever it is that you like to write on. You could do an extended character biography if you're a novelist. So you might like to expand on your character's backstory. I'm sure you could come up with more ideas. These are just a few from me to get your creative juices flowing. As a bit of a geek, I like this section. The sort of equipment you will need. This is great news. For audio recording, you only need a good microphone and free audio editing software. That is really good news, especially when you look at the cost of an entry-level good mic. This is one that's been recommended to me and that I think is a great one. The Samson Go mic is a USB mic, and it's also a condenser mic. That means that it's quite a high quality. Condenser mics are the ones that are recommended by professionals. They say if you're not going to have a condenser mic, it's not worth doing. So a condenser mic is great. But until very, very recently, you couldn't actually get a good condenser mic that attached to the computer via USB. You used to have to buy an extra piece of hardware that was quite expensive called a preamp. And you had to plug it into that and plug the preamp into the computer. You needed all sorts of different leads, and it was all very complicated and messy and quite daunting for people who aren't used to that sort of thing. So this is a massive step forward in that we can get condenser mics now, which are great quality, that we can just plug into USB and it goes straight into the computer. It's fantastic. This is a really neat little one that's ever so inexpensive, and you might even find it less expensive than that if you look on eBay or somewhere like that. Highly recommended by everyone who uses them, and very portable. Perhaps you like to take your laptop and work when you're on the road or in hotels or something. This is an ideal little piece of kit. I've called it entry level, but actually it's really good quality. If you want to go up a level, there's another one that's not terribly expensive. The Blue Yeti is the one that Kathy uses to record her courses. Very, very good quality for just $100. It's really, really fantastic. It's a decent size and weight mic, so you feel like you're using a quality piece of kit, and it sits nicely on its own stand. You don't need a separate mic stand. Really, really good microphone. Now, you don't have to go that sort of quality. You could stick with the Go mic, but if you want to take it up a notch, this is a really, really good one. If you want to use an iPhone, iPad, iPod, you could go for an iRig mic. Do go for the iRig HD mic, which is better than the ordinary iRig. Again, it's only just over $100. It's a really good mic. This is the mic that I use, and I'm very pleased I bought it. It's a fantastic mic. Now, I actually use it most of the time plugged into my Windows PC. You don't only have to use this with an iPod or iPad or whatever. You can use it with an ordinary PC. It is a surprisingly high quality mic for the money that you're paying for it. It really is impressive. What I would urge you not to do is to use an inbuilt mic that comes with a laptop or that comes with a webcam. They're generally not as good quality, and you get a lot of background noise, you get hissing, you get computer noise. So ideally get a mic that is meant for doing this sort of recording, not just simple Skype chats or things like that. An optional extra, but well worth having because it's very inexpensive, is a pop filter. And that's simply a piece of material attached to a round thing that stops the p from your voice. So when we speak, when we do those hard consonants, the P's and the T's, we tend to make an explosive sound. They're actually called plosives in the industry. And that can hit the mic. That blast of air can hit the mic, and it kind of distorts the sound, and it's not a very pleasant experience for your listeners. So the pop filter, for just $5 or $6, takes that away. Really, really handy. The software that you need. Audacity is a fantastic piece of software. It's available for all the major systems, and you can download it completely free. It's open source software. There's a slight learning curve, but it's not massive, so it's very well worth having. Now, even people who use high-end audio software for editing say that Audacity is amazing, so it's well worth downloading. And these are the things that you really, really need. You don't need lots and lots of instructions to make a simple audio, so don't let it daunt you. Just remember these things. Ideally, you need to record in a quiet room that has got lots of soft furnishings. A bedroom is often absolutely ideal. I know of some people who record in their closet because they have clothes on hangers around them, and that provides that nice soft environment. I wouldn't fit in my closet. There's too many clothes in there. You want to make sure that you turn everything off. So no air conditioning. If you have an air purifier, turn that off. If you can limit background noise as much as possible, that would be good because it will save you time editing. I have a problem with my dogs. I'm always having to try and keep them quiet. So I try to walk them before I'm going to record and give them a biscuit, and then they're all quiet for a while, so that's great. Another thing to remember is to turn off anything that is likely to pop up on your computer or your smartphone and make a vibration noise, because it's just annoying and you have to edit more. Ideally, you want to sit an extended hand's width away. So if you put your thumb on your lips and flare your fingers out, your mic shouldn't be any closer than where your pinky is. So that extended flared fingers thing. And pop filter is really, really useful. Or you could make one yourself. If you have a wire coat hanger, just bend it into a round shape and put a piece of pantyhose over the top. That does the same job. You don't need an expensive pop filter. Always, when you're recording, record a few seconds of complete silence, both at the beginning and at the end of your recording. You don't want to jump straight in. that helps you with the editing, because you can remove the noise room, that silence. You can remove any bits of noise that you actually can't hear with the human ear, but that your computer will pick up. Now, I know a lot of people recommend recording with headphones on. I have a slight problem with my ears. I have tinnitus and I have a slight problem with my hearing, and headphones drive me absolutely wild. I simply can't record with them on. And I get by. Kathy doesn't record with them on. Maybe it's essential for something really, really high end, like a good quality podcast. But for most things, don't worry about it too much. Now then, how we're going to record. The first thing is to keep well hydrated. That means don't just start thinking about hydration the minute you sit down to record. Think about it the day before, because a dry mouth is a poppy, clicky, noisy mouth and you don't feel good. It's horrible. Keep a glass or a bottle of water with you and just have little sips every now and then. Not fizzy water for obvious reasons. You don't want to be burping down the mic, but just keep hydrated. A lot of voiceover professionals carry green apples with them because they say eating it breaks through the sort of stickiness that you can get in your mouth. It's because it's really sharp, and that gives you a better sounding voice. It's a good idea also to stretch and then relax your neck and shoulders. I'm doing it now as I'm talking, which is why my voice sounds funny, because I've realised that I was getting a bit tense in my neck. And we do, don't we? When we're concentrating on something, we hold our neck stiff, we hold our shoulders slightly too high, and we can get really quite tense around the neck area. That means that your voice sounds funny. So if you can relax that area, your voice sounds more warm and friendly and more relaxed. Warming up your voice is actually essential. You don't want to do damage to it. You don't have to do anything fancy. You can just talk before you start recording. You can just do a couple of scales if you'd like to do that, or anything you can think of, maybe just to sing a little song, just to get your voice used to talking, and then you're ready to start recording. It's important to open your mouth first before you actually speak to do your recording, because I'm going to do it now. I'm going to open my mouth. Did you hear that sound? We do that all the time without knowing, but once you start listening to recordings of yourself, you'll cringe. But don't worry, because other people don't normally notice in day-to-day conversation, but when it's recorded, it picks it up especially. So open your mouth, have a little bit of silence, then start speaking, and you can remove the click from that otherwise silent bit easily in the editing. When you're speaking, try to speak clearly and don't rush away too quickly. I'm always trying to slow myself down because I get excited about what I'm teaching because I think it's great, and I get talking too quickly, and that's not good. We need to slow down so that people can understand us. And this last one is important. Don't try to speak in a way that is not natural to you. So this isn't the time to try a posh accent or to remove your natural accent. Just try to speak as yourself in a way that is natural to you, and then you will come over as authentic. Now, I'm going to show you in another lecture how to edit audio, but this is a very quick overview of what we will be doing. And the adage in the industry is garbage in, garbage out. So if you feel that perhaps your software isn't good enough and you want better software, it's probably not the case. It's probably that you're trying to clean up, as it were, an audio recording that isn't very good. So the best thing you can do is to have a decent mic and to speak clearly. And then you can do things with the audio to make it even better, but it's really hard to take rubbish away. Now, the things that you'll start to do with editing your audio, you can take out some background noise. So if the dog barks, you can take that out. It's a bit difficult if the dog barks while you're actually speaking. So if there is a noise when you are talking, stop talking, wait for the noise to finish, and then carry on. And you can take out the noisy bit later. It's possible to amplify or quieten your audio without damaging it, and you can normalise the levels so that there are no very, very loud and very, very quiet bits, and make it the peaks and lows aren't too high. But I would caution you not to fiddle, because the more you try to do with editing your audio, the worse it gets. That's actually good news, because it means you don't have to do too much. So in the next lecture, we're going to look at a demonstration of how to edit audio in Audacity. See you there. That lecture was from a course called Email Marketing for Authors. You can find the URL in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself and see if you'd like to join us over there. Thanks for watching.